follows an extract from my book Fête Fatale, available from Amazon. Chapter 19, Part 2. Toby and Primrose had spent the morning with Nathaniel, and so Beth expected to return to a quiet house. As she approached the back door, resounding laughter greeted her as she entered the kitchen. She opened the door to see Drew and Benji sitting at their ease at the kitchen table. "Benji, I thought you were coming tomorrow. I didn't know you were here. Where's your car?" "I've left it at Mossleigh police station. I've just spent half an hour swapping notes with Maddox, and as it's such a lovely day, I thought I'd walk here and surprise you." "How lovely to see you. I suppose that you're here on business. Shall I join you and we'll get our heads together?" Beth sat at the table and got down to business while Drew made a fresh round of drinks. They spent a good hour exchanging information, and it was soon evident that they'd both come to the same conclusion. "The problem here is that I don't think that I can prove all of this. Despite popular opinion, most murderers aren't likely to confess. What I need is hard, tangible evidence. I've only got a good idea, and that's not enough to stand up in court," said Benji. "I just might be able to help you out there. I'd got my suspicions a while ago, and I think I've managed to get what I think you need. I had to tell some half-truths, I'm afraid, but I hope that the end justifies the means. There's only likely to be a trace, if we're lucky," said Beth. "You're too circumspect, Beth, but it's to your credit," said Benji. "What do we do now? Is it enough to start official proceedings?" asked Drew. "I think that between us we've got enough for me to be quite sure of my way. I'm going to call Maddox. It's his patch. He can take the limelight here. I'll call Forbes first and give him his chance to blaze a trail. All you two need to do is just to sit back and enjoy," said Benji. Benedict reached for his mobile phone. "Forbes, my man, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. Are you listening? I want you to secure a car and get all the lights flashing because I need you to hurry here and collect what I'm hoping will be some vital evidence. I then need you to quickly hurry back to the lab as fast as you can, with all due caution, of course. If you can run some preliminary tests immediately, you'll know exactly what you're looking for as soon as you see the evidence. As soon as you've done, call me back with what results you can. Just a basic yes or no will do to be going on with." Smiling, he turned to Beth and Drew. "Now there's a scientist who, in his boyish heart, wishes he could be in a SWAT team. This should cheer him up a bit." He picked up his phone again. "Now for young Maddox. Let's teach him to stand tall in his uniform. Mind you, he seemed particularly chirpy this morning." "I think you'll find that that's due to a certain dark-haired, olive-skinned young lady rather than any sense of job satisfaction," said Beth. "All the better. Let's give him something else to crow about." Benedict hit the speed dial and tapped his fingers happily on the kitchen table as he waited for an answer. "Maddox, it's time to play ball. Are you ready?" "I don't know, sir, am I?" said Maddox. "Oh, I think so." James gave Maddox a series of short, concise orders and then concluded by saying, "I'll come and join you in about an hour when you've got everybody nicely settled in. Then we'll conduct the interview together." "I guess that's that. Now what?" said Beth. "I'm afraid that for today, Beth, all you can do is sit tight. Perhaps you should call together your little underground network and arrange a meeting for tomorrow morning. Ask everyone who has played even the smallest part to come along. Don't worry about keeping the kiddies out of the way. It's never too early for them to hear the truth, and I don't want anybody to miss out. It's up to you where you arrange everybody to congregate, though perhaps we should maintain tradition and meet at your famous tea room headquarters. There's likely to be a lot of us, so maybe you'd better make a reservation," said Benji. After making the necessary arrangements, there really was nothing more for Beth to do but wait. In an effort to occupy her hands and her mind, Beth locked herself away in the music room. She was playing with such vigour that Drew could hear her in his studio at the opposite side of the house. Noodle sought sanctuary in Drew's studio and exchanged a knowing glance with Drew before he closed his eyes in an attempt to sleep. In the first stages of her frustration, Beth chopped and changed pieces, not settling to playing any piece through to the end. Debussy's Gollywog Cakewalk went a good way to venting her frustration, even if the bell-like B-flat octaves at the extremities of the piano were a bit heavy-handed. As soon as her mood calmed, she tried some more tranquil music, but this wasn't the time for Mozart. Quirky, dissonant 20th century music was better suited to her mood, and as her composure returned, Messiaen's La Colombe expressed her emotions perfectly. It had a calm tranquillity that was just a little eerie and twisted. Eventually she played out all of her feelings, and silence once again settled on the house. As evening came, Drew carried a sleepy Noodle through from the studio into the lounge, where he found Beth asleep on the sofa. She awoke as the dog nestled into her lap. Drew mixed a gin and tonic for Beth and poured a whiskey for himself. They spent the rest of the evening watching action movies and eating junk food. Benji came home later that evening. He didn't say anything at all about the events of the afternoon, but just gave them an affirmative nod. He joined Beth and Drew in a drink, and they all then made their way to bed for an early night. For the full book of Fête Fatale, available in paperback or as an ebook, follow the link in the cards in the description box or find details on my website at sharonbill.com. Thanks for listening.